They called him the Son of God. But what if he never said that? From the moment Isa, Jesus, spoke as a baby, he declared himself nothing more than a servant of Allah. He healed the blind, raised the dead, and shaped birds from clay, but always by Allah's permission. So how did this humble prophet become worshipped as divine? Why does Islam honor him deeply, but reject the claim that he is God's son? This video uncovers the Qur'anic truth about Isa, a story hidden beneath centuries of confusion. You'll discover the real reason he was born without a father, why his miracles amazed even his enemies, and what truly happened on the day people thought he was crucified. We dive into the tension, the deception, and the divine plan that saved him, and explore the powerful return Islam promises will one day shake the world. Was Isa misunderstood or deliberately misrepresented? What did he really teach? And what will happen when he returns, not to confirm the lies, but to destroy them? If you think you know the story of Jesus, you've only seen part of it. The truth is deeper, clearer, and more powerful than you were ever told. If you are yet to like this video, do so now, and let's get into the video. In a small town, far away in time and place, lived a young woman named Maryam. She was kind, pure, and devoted to Allah. From the time she was a little girl, Maryam worshipped Allah sincerely. She grew up in a place of worship, where she spent her time in prayer, fasting, and remembering her Lord. People knew her as someone special, someone close to God. One day, while she was alone in a quiet area to worship Allah, something amazing happened. An angel appeared before her, a bright, noble angel. It was Angel Jibril, sent by Allah with a powerful message. Maryam was frightened at first. She had never seen anything like this before. She said, "I seek refuge in the most merciful from you, if you fear Allah." The angel replied, "Do not be afraid. I am only a messenger from your Lord, here to give you news of a pure boy." Maryam was shocked. She asked, "How can I have a son when no man has ever touched me, and I have never been unchaste?" Then came the angel's reply, a truth that would change history forever. He said, "It will happen. Your Lord says, 'It is easy for me.'" Surah Maryam 19:21. Just like that, Allah had willed a miracle. Maryam would become a mother, not through any man, but through the command of Allah. She would give birth to a baby named Isa, known in English as Jesus, peace be upon him. This was no ordinary birth. It was a miracle, but not something new for Allah. Because when Allah wants something to happen, He simply says, "Be," and it is. This moment reminds us of another miracle, the creation of Adam, the first human being. Adam had no father and no mother. Allah created him from clay, shaped him, and breathed into him the soul. And just like that, Adam became human. In the Quran, Allah explains this clearly. Indeed, the example of Jesus to Allah is like that of Adam. He created him from dust, then said to him, "Be," and he was. Surah Al-Imran 3:59. So even though Isa was born in a way that was different, without a father, it does not mean he is the son of God. It means he is a sign from Allah, a miracle, just like the creation of Adam. This is one of the reasons why Muslims do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God. Instead, we believe that he is a prophet, a servant of Allah, born by his will, just like everything else in the heavens and the earth. Maryam, though pure and chosen, was still a human being, and Isa, though born through a miracle, was still a human being too, not divine, not part of Allah, and not his son. When Maryam became pregnant, she was alone. She didn't know how to explain it to her people. She went far away and found a quiet place to rest. As the time came for her to give birth, she felt pain and fear. But Allah comforted her with a stream of water and ripe dates from a palm tree. He reminded her, "Do not be sad. Your Lord has made things easy for you." When Isa was finally born, Maryam held him in her arms. He was peaceful, beautiful, and full of light. But Maryam still had to return to her people, who would question her. They would accuse her of something terrible. They wouldn't understand the miracle. But Allah had a plan. When Maryam brought baby Isa back to the town, the people were shocked. They said, "Maryam, what have you done? Your family was good and pure. How could you do this?" Maryam didn't speak. Instead, she pointed to her baby. They looked at the newborn in confusion. "How can we speak to a baby in the cradle?" they asked. Then something incredible happened. The baby Isa spoke. "Indeed, I am the servant of Allah. He has given me the book and made me a prophet. He has blessed me wherever I am." Surah Maryam 19:30 and 31. Can you imagine? A baby, just born, speaking with wisdom and truth. That was another miracle. It wasn't just a sign for the people of that time. It was a sign for all of us, even today. From the very first moment of his life, Isa made it clear he is the servant of Allah, not his son, not God, not part of a trinity. He is a messenger, chosen and honored, but still a man, a human, like all other prophets before him. This is the first chapter of Isa's story, the miraculous birth, the truth from the cradle, and the honor of being a sign for the world. This truth helps us understand why Islam does not believe Isa is the Son of God. He is a prophet, a messenger, a miracle, but he is not divine. Maryam was chosen by Allah, and Isa was born by his will, as a sign to the world that Allah can do all things. But even in miracles, truth stays clear.
Allah is one. He has no partners. He does not beget, and he was not begotten. And Isa, peace be upon him, is a part of that truth, not above it.
When Maryam pointed to her baby, the people around her were confused, even angry. They stared at the little infant wrapped in cloth, sleeping in her arms.
"How can we talk to a baby?"
They scoffed.
"She thinks this baby can explain something?"
And then something happened that no one expected. The baby opened his eyes. He turned his tiny head toward the crowd. And then, with a calm and clear voice, he spoke.
"I am the servant of Allah,"
he said.
The people froze.
The baby continued speaking.
"He has given me the book and made me a prophet. He has blessed me wherever I am."
Gasps rippled through the crowd. Some people stepped back in fear. Others leaned in closer. A newborn baby was talking, not babbling, but delivering a message. He said,
"Peace is on me the day I was born, the day I die, and the day I will be raised again to life."
This was no ordinary baby, and this was no ordinary moment. The people were stunned, but even in their shock, they understood something very important. This baby was not claiming to be God. He was not calling himself divine. He called himself a servant, a messenger, someone chosen by Allah.
From the very beginning of his life, Isa spoke the truth about himself. And that truth was simple. He was sent by Allah, not born from him.
This moment would be remembered for generations. A newborn baby speaking was one of the first miracles of Isa, not to impress people, but to defend his mother and to deliver truth. And in that truth, there was no pride, no claim to divinity, only humble submission to the one who created him. As Isa grew, he did not live a royal life. He didn't wear a crown. He didn't build palaces or gather riches.
He lived simply, walking the earth with wisdom and mercy. He helped people. He cared for the poor. He stood up to those who were unfair, and as he became a man, more miracles followed.
He healed the blind, not with tools or medicine, but with the permission of Allah. He touched people with illness, and they were cured. He even made a bird from clay, breathed into it, and it came alive. But every time something amazing happened, Isa reminded people, "This is not my power, it is Allah's." He never said, "Worship me." He never said, "I am your Lord." Instead, he said, "Worship Allah, my Lord and your Lord." He taught people to pray, to give charity, to forgive each other, to love the truth. He reminded them of the prophets who came before him, like Musa and Ibrahim. He never tried to start a new religion. He only came to guide the people back to the straight path. But not everyone liked his message. Some leaders felt threatened. Isa was loved by the poor and the honest, but the rich and powerful felt afraid. They didn't want someone to remind them of their wrongs. They didn't want the people to follow a prophet. They began to whisper lies. They called him names. Some even planned to hurt him. As the danger grew, Isa knew that his time on earth was not forever. But he was not afraid. He had come with a purpose, to teach the truth, to be a sign, and to prepare the world for what was coming. Even though Isa could perform miracles, he still felt hunger. He felt tired. He needed rest. He walked under the hot sun and felt pain. He laughed. He cried. He was fully human. His body aged. His feet bled from walking. He was not above human life. He was living it, just like everyone else. Some people were amazed by the miracles and thought, "How can someone do these things unless he is God?" But they forgot something very important. Many prophets had done miracles before. Musa split the sea. Ibrahim walked through fire and was not burned. Suleiman spoke to animals. These were all miracles, but the prophets were never worshipped. They were servants, not gods. Isa's miracles were the same, signs of Allah's power, not Isa's. But slowly, over time, some people changed the story. After Isa left, others began to say things he never said. They called him the Son of God. Some even said he was God in human form. But Isa never said that, not once. Not in the cradle, not as a child, not as a man, not ever. He only ever said what Allah told him to say. He came with mercy, not pride. With healing, not destruction. With truth, not confusion. And the truth was this: Allah is one. He does not need a son. He does not give birth, and he was not born. He is the creator of all things. Isa never asked to be worshipped. He only asked people to obey the one who created the skies, the earth, and everything in between. When Isa preached, he used soft words. He sat with children. He listened to the cries of the poor. He walked among people, not above them. He washed with his hands. He ate from simple plates. He prayed with his face to the ground, just like the prophets before him. He was not a king. He was not a god. He was a teacher, a messenger, a man chosen for a mission. His strength came from truth, not from claiming divinity. His greatness came from his humility. And even as some people misunderstood him, Isa never changed. He stayed firm in his message, and that message was clear. I am the servant of Allah. I have come to guide you, not to be worshipped by you. This was the message of Isa. This was his miracle, not just speaking from the cradle, but speaking the truth, even when people didn't want to hear it. And even today, that truth still speaks. Because real truth doesn't need to be shouted, it just needs to be said, clearly, humbly, and with a heart full of light. The sun was setting behind the olive trees. Isa stood in front of a crowd, silent, waiting. A little boy was brought forward. His mother wept. The child was blind from birth. "Please," she cried, "We've tried everything." Isa looked down at the boy. He knelt and gently touched the child's eyes. Then, without saying a word to the people, he whispered to his lord. A few seconds passed. Then the boy opened his eyes, and he saw. Gasps filled the air. The boy cried out and held his mother. People shouted. Some fell to their knees. But Isa said nothing to take credit. He only raised his eyes to the sky and said, "This is from Allah." This wasn't the first miracle, and it wouldn't be the last. People brought the sick to him, the ones with diseases no doctor could heal. Some were paralyzed, some were near death. Isa touched them, and by the permission of Allah, they were healed. But even more stunning was what he did one cold evening. A man had died. His body lay still. The air was heavy. People were mourning. Isa walked through the crowd, silent. He knelt near the body. Once again, he whispered, and then the man opened his eyes. He had returned from death. The crowd screamed. Some ran. Some stayed frozen in place. But Isa stood up and walked away quietly, his eyes lowered. No crown, no throne, no worship me. He never asked for praise, but the people started to wonder. They began to whisper among themselves, "No one can do this unless he is more than a man." Some said, "Maybe he's the Son of God." That was the moment it started. A dangerous turn, a twisting of truth. They forgot that other prophets had done miracles. They forgot that Musa had split the sea, and Abraham had walked unharmed through fire. They forgot that miracles come from Allah, not from men. Isa never once told anyone he was divine. He never asked to be worshipped. He prayed just like other prophets. He washed, he bowed, he placed his forehead on the ground. He called Allah his Lord and ours, nothing more. But something was growing in the hearts of the people, a storm, not outside, but inside. Some wanted to turn a messenger into a god. Isa's message was clear: one God, one truth, one path. But not everyone liked that message, especially the leaders, the ones who had power, money, and control. They saw Isa's growing followers and felt fear. If people believed in his message, they would lose their grip. So they began to plot. They sent spies to watch him. They spread rumors. They accused him of magic. They tried to confuse his followers. But Isa kept going. His heart was full of light, and his mission wasn't done. One night he met with his closest followers in secret. He told them, "Soon things will become very hard. They will try to kill me, but Allah has a plan." The sky was dark. The mood was tense. Isa knew his time was near, but not in the way the people thought, because what happened next was one of the most misunderstood moments in history. The leaders had made a plan. Soldiers were sent to capture Isa. They wanted to silence him forever, but Allah protected him. In the deep silence of night, Isa was raised up, not killed, not crucified, but lifted away. Someone else, someone who betrayed Isa, was made to look like him. The soldiers took that man instead. The crowd watched as he was punished, and they believed they had killed Isa. But they were wrong. They didn't kill him. They didn't crucify him. They only saw what they thought was true. The truth? Isa was never touched. He was taken by Allah, saved from the plot of the wicked, and his mission on earth came to a pause, not an end. But the people who didn't understand, they began to build a lie, and that lie grew like a shadow stretching over time. They said Isa had died for sins, that he was God's son, that he had come to be worshipped. But he never said that, not once. The one who said, "I am the servant of Allah" as a baby, never changed his message. But those who came after, they changed it. Islam came to clear the confusion, to restore the truth. It teaches that Isa was a mighty prophet, not a god, that he performed miracles, but not from his own power, that he was born without a father, but so was Adam, that he was raised, not killed, and that he will return, not to be worshipped, but to speak truth once again. The idea that Allah would have a son is deeply rejected in Islam, because to Muslims, Allah is perfect. He does not need family. He was not born. He does not die. He does not sleep. He does not become human. The Creator is not like the creation. Allah does not need to come down to understand His servants. He already knows every heart, every tear, every breath. And when He forgives, He does not need blood or death to do it. He is the most merciful. That's why Islam honors Isa, but never worships him. It follows his true path, not the version others made after him. Isa's miracles were real. His compassion was real. His words were full of wisdom, but his message was always about turning people to Allah, not toward himself. And that is where the difference lies. Islam honors Isa as a prophet, a miracle, a messenger, but not as the Son of God, because Allah has no son. He is above such need. This chapter of Isa's life, the miracles, the love, the betrayal, the rescue, is filled with light and shadows, with beauty and with sorrow. But it's not over, because Isa is still alive, and one day he will return, and when he does, he will set the record straight. The city was dark. Shadows stretched across stone walls. In narrow alleyways, whispers echoed, "They found him! They're going to crucify him!" But no one truly knew what had happened. The soldiers thought they had Isa. The people believed they saw him carried away, tied and beaten. Some said he was nailed to wood. Some said he died on a hill. Some said they buried him. But they were wrong. Because in that moment of chaos, something unseen had taken place. Something only Allah could do. Isa was never touched, never harmed, never killed. He was taken, lifted up by the command of his Lord, while the world looked the other way, while hearts were heavy and lies spread like wildfire. Isa was raised to safety, alive. But the world didn't know that. And that's where the confusion began. Those who hated him were proud. They thought they had stopped him. Those who loved him were heartbroken. They thought he was gone. And slowly, a storm of stories began to rise. Some said Isa had died to forgive sins. Others claimed he was God himself, walking the earth in human form. Some began to draw pictures of him. Others built statues. The truth was slipping away, buried under layers of emotion, power, and fear. And the greatest mistake of all began to spread, the belief that Isa was the Son of God. But he never said that, not when he was a baby, not when he healed the blind, not when he raised the dead, not when he prayed to Allah with tears in the night, not once. Still, over the years, people forgot what Isa himself had said. They replaced it with what others claimed he might have meant. And that's how a messenger became misunderstood. That's how a prophet was made into something he never was. The world changed. New books were written. Old teachings were rewritten. People argued. Councils were held. Kings chose what stories to keep and what to hide. And the Isa that people spoke of was no longer the Isa that had walked among them. He had become a symbol, but not of the truth. He became the center of ideas that he never preached and never agreed with. The idea that Allah would need to become human to understand his creation. The idea that he would allow himself to be beaten, mocked, and killed by the very ones he created. The idea that Allah would need a son to forgive his servants. No, this is not the way of the most merciful. And so, Allah sent another message, a final message, one that would never change, one that would set the story straight. Through the Quran, Allah spoke again, clearly, directly, with no confusion. They did not kill him. They did not crucify him. It was made to appear so. And then came the greatest truth. Allah raised him up, alive, untouched, unbroken, still chosen, still his servant. But why would Allah let it appear like Isa was killed? Because the world was being tested, just like people were tested when Musa left and they built the golden calf. Just like people were tested when Ibrahim was thrown into fire, this was another test. Who would hold on to the truth? Who would worship Allah alone? And who would chase stories that felt sweet, but were never real? For those who followed their desires, the lie became more comfortable than the truth. But the Quran came like lightning in the dark, exposing everything. The Quran didn't just tell the story, it restored it. It reminded the world. Isa was born without a father, just like Adam, who had no father or mother. Isa spoke as a baby, to defend his mother and declare himself a servant, not a god. Isa performed miracles by Allah's permission, not by his own power. Isa called for worship of Allah alone, not of himself. Isa was never killed, but lifted alive, and will return again. And it reminded the world that Allah, the one who created all things, never had a son. He doesn't become human. He doesn't change. He doesn't die. He doesn't rest. He doesn't share his throne. He is not in need of help. He is not like his creation. And this is where Islam draws its line with firmness and love.